Hello friends, welcome to the channel. If today is your first time visiting with us, we want to extend you a very warm welcome and invite you to review our over 360 videos, as we are very confident you're going to find something you enjoy and also find useful for your personal use. If today is your birthday, we want to wish you a very happy birthday. As you can see behind me is the very dirty track. We had a dirty rain, I don't know how else to call it, right?
Yeah.
A couple of days ago that actually made the car look like it has never been washed in its life.
Got all the dust out of the air, yeah.
But right now we're more concerned about fixing the brakes than washing the track, right?
For sure.
So the track, you might see it is a little candy wampus, like that.
Cattywampus, yeah.
Because we still have it on one jack stand actually.
Yeah, one jack stand.
And we are about to go under the track. We did encounter an unpredictable problem when we're working on the lines. When we were ready to connect the brakes, and actually we're going to make a video for you for that, we found out that our fitting did not go through the line because the line had a bend, right?
Right.
And we worked for an hour and a half or so to try to get rid of that bend, tried everything we could think of, and just it wouldn't happen, right?
Yes.
So they didn't hear you.
Yes. Well, you keep saying right.
Right, I know, I get into that hobby. I need
No.
to, not hobby, habit.
It's a habit.
It's a habit. So we stopped because there was nothing we can do, right? Everything we're trying was not working. And sometimes you need to know when to stop.
Yeah, because you're reaching your frustration limit, and sometimes that creates more problems than it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we stopped and I was thinking about the problem, and I came out of the garage and I was looking at what tools we have, and I figured out the flaring tool the block is the exact diameter, and if we were to clamp it around a bend, I would think it will straighten it. Mm-hmm. So we are about to find out now, does that work or not? So stick around. We're under the track, and as you can see, we have cleaned and get the hose ready, but we did run into an interesting problem, and that is there is a little kink on the hose, and it cannot go any further. Our fitting cannot go any further than that, which means we are not able to actually do the repair because we don't have enough hose length. Now we tried and tried, probably we spent an hour, wouldn't you say?
An hour and a half.
Tried to straighten that hose under here, and we, to put it in mild terms, failed. So we're going to try today, and we might fail or not. We have an idea of using the cast for a purpose it was not designed, and that is to put it over the bend. I'm sorry. It's very hard to film this and do it, and use this cast to straighten the hose. You know, the advantage of this is exactly the same diameter as the hose, so we hope that this will work. We have to tighten it as much as we can, and that's what we're doing right here. You really tighten it.
I'm working on really tightening it, but as you might imagine, this is a fairly close space, and I don't have the ability to turn this handle very much.
Well, let's see, is it tight? What it looks like?
There's still a gap there, so let me see if I can tighten it a little bit more.
Again, we're doing this live. We have not tried it before. We don't know if it works. But if it works, it will save us the trouble of cutting the line again and having to purchase a different length of brake line, right?
So there's still a gap there. Let me see if I can get that.
Well, even if you can, we can see if we can actually do anything.
Okay.
You don't think it did anything?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. You ready?
So we did it a second time, and now we are going to try it again, and it might take 1 or 2 times more. The bend on the steel is actually very hard, as we found out, right?
Well, steel is very difficult too.
Does it look any better?
Let's see. No. And it could be placement. Let's try again.
Yes, I'm sure it could be placement, so. Again, we're doing this first time with you guys, so do be patient. It is hard working under the track and placing this in the correct spot. You know what we also might want to do when you're ready? Maybe hit it with a sandpaper, because it is not very clean, and that might prevent it from moving.
Okay.
If you think that's a good idea.
Why not?
You want to try it now?
I want to try the fitting.
I mean, as you can see, it feels pretty straight, but
It's still
try and see if you can push it a little bit,
no.
or even turn it. Okay, let's try to hit with a little bit of sandpaper.
Okay.
I mean, it looks pretty straight, but the tolerance is very, very small on the, what do you call it,
On this fitting.
on the fittings, which makes sense because you want them to be tight. So what we're doing now is just make it in essence a little smoother, right?
Yeah. To try and get the rust and the grit off this line.
Well, it's the same paper we used to clean the.
Yeah, I'm just reinforcing it for them.
Does it feel smoother?
A little bit. Let's see. Let me try this thing one more time. I can feel where the bend is there.
Mm-hmm. Can you feel it with your fingers?
Yeah, it's right there.
Okay. So make sure that try to make that in the middle of the thing, where the bigger pressure is. And we know this is repetitive, guys, but this is the reality of working in cars, right?
Well, reality of problem solving.
We did not
Any homestead project.
anticipate this problem, to be honest. So we're trying to MacGyver a solution because there's really no good tool. Is the gap closed? Can you see the gap or not?
There's just a fingernail width of the gap, but I can't get closed on this one. Oh, there we go.
Okay.
So let's see if I can get that. I crossed my fingers. That was it.
So let's see if we were successful.
Yep. There we go.
And our approach here worked. The fitting is now in, as you can see.
And so then to be able to do the double flare, we'll have plenty of room to put this.
Right, well, try it. I mean, we don't have to do it, but
Yeah, I'm just showing them that's plenty of room.
yeah, that's plenty of room.
Because we'll be able to back it out to about there, which is where you have to do the double flare.
So now we are closer to finishing, and we know we don't have this problem in the other side, but even if we did, we know we have the solution, right?
Right. And so that's I'm just trying to light it up a little better for
Okay.
you guys. Okay?
So we have plenty of space.
Yep. We're good, and we'll be able to come back and do the double flare when we're
And
ready.
again, if it doesn't work the first time,
Try again.
do it a couple of times so you know that it will work, okay?
It took us 3 times to do it to get it straight.
But definitely it did work for us,
Yep.
and it did work without having to buy any other specialized tools
Right.
or anything else, okay?
And again, try the sandpaper because that does help with smoothing it out and making sure your fitting can go over the line.
And it might even help actually straighten it if it doesn't have all the crud in it, you know?
Yeah,
I
that,
didn't think of that in the beginning, but
that too.
all right. So we'll be right with you. It's clear.
Yeah.
Okay, as you can see, the truck is lifted enough for us to get underneath it. We don't really need a tremendous amount of clearance. We just need to clear the subframe. But safety is very important. I don't know if you can see our orange
Yep.
jack stand there. And for safety, we do have the hydraulic stand in the back.
Jack.
Yeah, the hydraulic jack in the back. And if anything, we can have a helper here when we work and we move the truck a lot. And if the jack was to fail, someone can pump it up and release us from the truck. Even though I think even if it was to fall, I don't think it will crash us because we could generally get under the truck even without lifting it, right?
Yeah, it would probably, startle us, scare us a little bit more than anything else.
But
Tires are still on, so they would catch the truck itself too.
but it is paramount to be very safe conscious when you work on a truck. So let us show. Oh, you want to talk about that a little bit? Another thing we're doing, we're using
It's a paint drop cloth.
a paint drop cloth. It is nice and prevent us from getting into the cold cement here. And it is on one side
Felt. And
felt, which is, I wouldn't call it comfortable, but definitely not bad. And on the other side is that blue tarp, which makes it a little slippery and so forth. So that we have only traditionally used for painting, but now we use it as a crawler.
Well, and the reason why it's working so well for us as a crawler is because the actual crawler would raise us up several inches off the floor, and we
Right.
don't have that clearance right now.
Because we don't have a lift.
Right.
We're liftless.
Right.
All right, friends, as my smile will indicate, our attempt was successful, and of course by now you have seen it, so you know it was successful. We are very pleased with that because we were thinking we have to cut the line again and get a different line and reflare things and do all kinds of things, right?
Right. Right.
Okay, I need to stop saying right.
Right.
I need to put a jar here, and every time I say right,
Hey, we could go to St. Martin again.
put a dollar in it.
I like that idea.
You like that
St.
idea, huh?
Martin, here we come.
How often do I say right?
St. Martin.
You're crazy.
You're crazy.
Anyway, we wanted to show you that sometimes ingenuity and thinking out of the box can solve a problem. And just because a tool is designed for a specific purpose doesn't mean you cannot use it for another purpose. Does that make sense?
Yeah, we do that all the time.
So, I've not seen that, so probably this is the first time you see it on YouTube. This is, I dare say, my idea. I mean, these days it's hard to say that because there are billions of videos on the internet.
But it's definitely a creative way to solve the problem.
But definitely I did not see it anywhere else. That's something I came across as I was pondering how we're going to solve this problem. Because let me tell you, we were ready to do just about anything but having to recut this line. Because cutting this line under the truck, it just is not fun. Trust us on that, right? So 2 cuts put us on the limit of what we wanted to do under the truck cutting lines, right? So now, can I say it or we'll jinx it? It should be the easy part, right? Of connecting the line.
Well, we still have to do the flares.
Well, yeah, but we mastered that now.
We're pretty confident in those at this point, yeah.
And on the flares, we found out you have to actually use the sandpaper we used before, and I think you mentioned it was the same. Because otherwise, the tool does not grip enough.
Right.
And what you end up happening is you push the tube, and because it's such a small amount, you don't see that you're pushing it, and you end up with nothing.
Right.
So we are going to show you again when we're under the truck. It might be the next episode, I don't know. I know we're going to finish it sometime this week, but it might not necessarily be the next episode when we saw it. We have to do the flares, connect the line, bleed the brakes, and then the truck will be back into commission.